happened?
Fall asleep.
Oh, welcome, everybody. Okay, we're going to talk about some new things that I found out about LinkedIn today. And number one is we've had to be really careful on how many people we
Mhm.
connect with on
Mm.
LinkedIn, and they had cut it down to 100 maximum per month. And now they've changed that to 100 invites to connect per week. But if you've not been active on your account every day on there, inviting people to connect with you, you could still be um, messaged by LinkedIn to tell you that you've reached your limit for the day or for the week or for the month. So start carefully by, if you've not been inviting people to connect with you on LinkedIn, and start with 3. And if you don't get a pop-up, go to 5. And if you don't get a pop-up, go to 10. And then when that pop-up message comes, then you just stop inviting people to connect with you. You're fine. You're not in jail or anything. The LinkedIn's not going to shut your account down. The only way they'll shut your account down is if you disobey that message and keep on inviting, right? So just pay attention to any of the messaging that pops up when you're busy working on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn has 14 algorithms that are working to shape your perfect customer. So really pay attention to who your perfect customer is as you're reaching out to connect with people so that you can shape that algorithm on your LinkedIn. I've had a dickens of a time getting my LinkedIn shaped to the algorithm of my perfect customer because way back when I started LinkedIn, I was inviting everybody to connect with me and I was accepting every connection request, and it was just a hodgepodge. So I've been really concentrating on making sure that I just invite people to connect with me that fit the profile of my perfect customer, right? And that, and so here's what most of the LinkedIn gurus, shall we call them, don't know. They don't know about the groups. And they all talk about conventional business, right? The closest they get to digital marketing is realtors or mortgage brokers, or there's a whole bunch of people on there who are in digital marketing, but they want a job to do our digital marketing for us. So
Exactly.
you have to be careful
Mm.
which ones you connect with. So I'm going to share my screen. I've got my LinkedIn open here.
So since yours and my perfect customers are basically the same,
Uh-huh.
do you only invite senior citizen women?
Actually, I invite anybody who's in home-based business or network marketing because um, lots of times, in fact, most of the time, you'll see a young picture up there, but they're actually 50 plus. And that's my market is over people who are over 50. And I
Right.
know some of those, not some of those, a lot of those people on there I met when I went to sit down to breakfast networking meetings when I lived in the Vancouver area. And they still have their 40-year-old picture on there when they were 40. And so I know that they're definitely in their 60 pluses
Mm.
because it's been a good 10 years since I saw them, right? And when I met them, I'll give you an example. I met this gal on LinkedIn and we had a really great conversation and we found out that we were both going to go to the same sit down to breakfast networking meeting. And so we promised each other that we'd sit together at a table. And I was there before anybody. I was one of the first people there. And I was watching people coming through the door. And I didn't see this woman. I didn't see this woman. I didn't see this woman. And and all the people that came through had gray hair or they were bald.
All ended.
And I went, "Oh my gosh, what in the world?" So I I was sitting through the meeting, and after the meeting, this woman comes up to me and she said, hi, Christine, I'm so and so. And I went, oh, nice to meet you. I'm so sorry. I didn't
Didn't
recognize you.
recognize you.
She says, I'm sorry. She said, I've still got my 40-year-old picture up there. And she was already in her late 50s, 60, somewhere in there, right? So that's
Wow.
that's what we need to be careful of. We need to be careful that
Yeah.
we have a current headshot up there.
Oh, look, I don't understand why people don't, because every time, when I went from blonde to dark, like to natural, I automatically updated my photo and I put it on all my social media. When I
Uh-huh.
get a cut, I put a new photo up. When it grows, I put a new photo, like just
Yeah.
because it of that reason.
Yeah.
God, I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Well, I've got 3 professional headshots that have been done for me.
Mm,
And as long as they still look like me, I'll
yeah.
use them. But as soon as they just don't look like me anymore, I'm going to change them. But
Wow.
that's you can't really tell how old people are.
No.
And you really don't want people to know how old you are because on LinkedIn there is ageism.
Mm.
Yeah. So we have to be aware of that fact.
Didn't realize that.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't either, Kurt.
Yeah. So when you're filling out that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to talk to you about the experience section. And
Mm.
in that experience section, you want to list at least 3 experiences. And you have to be careful that you don't put the year on your experiences or the date.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because or your education, if you graduated from university and in 1969,
They'll
maybe
know how
that in
old you
there.
are.
Yeah. And so it does have a lot of bearing on whether people will connect with you and want to do business with you. Because then if they think that you're over 60, the thought is for most people that you probably aren't techie and you probably won't be a good customer.
Blimey.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
how rude.
yeah. So I've got some notes here that I'm checking through to make sure I cover everything. So your experience needs to have a title. So if you're listing experience, you go into you see here on my page here where it says add profile section,
Hmm.
and you need to keep that up to date. So if you've got something new that you're doing, make sure you put it in there and move it to the top. Make sure it's at the top. Usually what happens when you add a new profile section and you're in it, or it's experience or education or whatever, the last one that you enter is usually automatically at the top. But there is a way to move it. And if you need to move your profile section up, you can. You have to just hit the edit pencil. So you need to make sure that you list, where's my education here, here. Go down. See, there's my experience. So I've got the marketing strategist at the very top, right? And if you click this pencil, see this? You should be able to connect onto it. There you can. You can move it, right?
Wow.
But I'm not going to move it. So you can put it wherever you want to put it.
Mm.
Got something that's really old, you might want to put it down at the bottom. But I've got some dates in here. You see what I've got? My 2024 up here,
Hmm.
2023. Those are really not accurate dates because I didn't realize that I didn't have to put the actual date in there. I can
Right.
take that out and eliminate it.
Hmm.
This doesn't, I've been working on this for 14 years, right? I
Yeah.
started in January of 2011. So it's over 14 years now. So I've got all these dates in here and I need to go in here and change all these. And I left them in here on purpose so you could see them.
Mm.
So by the time we get together next week, I will have them all gone and take them all out of there because I don't want people to be caught up with ageism.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Terry. What happened to Terry? I just admitted Terry. I wonder what's going on here. Hello, Terry.
She looks like she's gone.
Yeah, and she came up here and it said admit. So I clicked on admit, but she doesn't seem to have come back in. Hmm. So now there's something else. Oh, here she is again. There she is. Hi, Terry. I clicked on admit and you didn't show up, so I thought, oh no, what did I do? But you're back. That's okay. So you need to have a title on your experience and only show generally where you live. So if you go into my profile and you look at where I live, I'm going to,
So we should just put like the US or Britain or Canada.
well,
I'm kidding.
they just talk about the fact that you just need to put it generally. So I'm in the Greater Edmonton metropolitan area. So it's a really big area. It includes a whole bunch of other towns. And that's all I
Sure.
need to have in there is that general area. I don't need to tell people I'm in this little small town where I live.
Sure. I would just put Detroit, not the suburb I'm really in. Yeah.
Yeah. And part of the reason for that is people get the idea that if you're from a small town, you have small town mind, right?
That's, that's a good thought. Yeah.
So you want to give the impression that you have a little more knowledge than a small town, podunk town
Yeah.
kind of mentality.
City slicker.
Yeah, that's right. And so that was the experience. And then your education is sort of similar. You want to make sure that you don't put years on everything.
Oh, I
And
thought you were going to say the size of the college.
yeah, not necessarily.
Went to Fred's University. Yeah.
Yeah. And then um and in your about page, okay, let's see here. Your about section needs to have at least 300 to 500 words in it. Your description in your about section.
300 to 500. Okay.
And it needs to be written in the first person. And you've seen mine, how I talk about the first person in mine. And
I.
and it needs to have at least 15 to 20 skills listed in there. And you know how I do my skills, right?
Yeah.
I try to filter them in through the copy. Oh, here's Terry again. What's the matter? I admitted her again. But I list a bunch of skills at the bottom of my about page. It's not for people to read. Hello, Terry. Are you okay? Okay. So these are not for people to read. They are for the search engines and for the algorithms on LinkedIn. And you can do the same kind of a thing on your education and your experience. So here's what you need to have in your section, in your about section. And I didn't know about this. This is what I knew about the about section. You need 300 to 500 words in your about section, and you need to have it written in the first person. And number 3, you have to list 15 to 20 skills for the SEO optimization. So it should have at least 15 to 20 skills listed down here.
Yeah.
Now, they didn't say to list it down here. This is something that I've just learned over time to be able to put them in the bottom of your about page so that the search engines can read them. And have a call to action. So I've got my website at the bottom of mine here. Copy and paste the link below. Check out the Legacy Builders program now. So I've got that call to action at the end. So make sure you've got a call to action at the end of your about page.
Okay.
Christine, sorry, did you say write in the third person or the first person?
First person.
Oh, first.
First
Okay,
person, yeah.
because I thought that was a bit strange. And I'm reading it. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I'm pretty sure she's got first person there. That's
First
good.
person, yeah. Now there's somebody else trying to get in. Oh, that's Terry again.
No, that's me. I'm going on my laptop so I can
Oh, I'll
actually see what you're doing.
This
Okay,
meeting
so
is being recorded.
so you have to, okay.
Now,
You can have two of your hardware platforms connected, but you have to just make sure you put one of them on mute so it doesn't echo. So you could have your computer and your phone connected to the Zoom. Just make sure that one of them is muted,
correct.
and then you'll be okay. Okay. So here's another thing, the featured. You can have up to 5 things featured. And so you can have 5 different things, different posts featured up there. And it's recommended that you at least have 3. One thing that keeps them on LinkedIn, and 2 things that take them off LinkedIn. So takes them to your calendar to book an appointment, takes them to your landing page to get on an email list, that kind of thing. So you can see I've got some of these experiences listed here.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out how come I can't see it.
Ah. So I've got 5 listed, but you can only see 3. And so they're recommending that we just put 3. We only need to have 3 up there. But I've done a few things, and so I've put 5 up there because I knew that I kind of like to be at my limit.
Pushing the envelope, huh?
Yeah, I'm kind of that way. So here's what LinkedIn says. Why LinkedIn? Number 1, you build meaningful relationships. So LinkedIn, and this is something that I've heard from a few different people on LinkedIn, people who are supposedly gurus on LinkedIn. And that is, you don't need to be posting 3 times a day. You only need to be posting once a day because your people that you're connected to, the LinkedIn algorithms show them all your posts. And until they read your posts, those posts will stay connected for a long period of time. So it's way different than Facebook or Instagram or any of those other platforms.
So now I don't have to do it 5 times a day.
Nope. Nope.
Yay!
Once a day. They're saying once a day. And
And it only goes to your followers?
other people can watch them as well, but it stays connected to your followers by those algorithms because of the fact that you're connected to them, right? Or are following that person, or they're following you. So
I'm sorry, that was an
okay,
article you're talking about, or what is it? Stays connected?
posts. So when you
Post
put a
do.
post,
Okay, general.
just a
Okay,
post, that's where you go to the home page.
sure.
And I'll just show you quickly here. You go to the home page and scroll up to the top, but see all these people that are showing here? These are people that they're either following me or they're connected to me. They'll
Yeah.
be at the top. So these are mostly all people that I'm connected to here. There's Terry.
Well, I finally got you, but I still don't see your screen.
Oh, isn't that strange? Because I've got the share screen on. Can everybody else see my screen?
Yes.
Maybe I'll leave and come back
Yep.
in.
You could try that. That might work. So LinkedIn is the #1 personal brand building platform of all the different social media things that are available online. And they're also suggesting that when we are there we go again. There's Terry. Where are you here? Get my mouse. There we go. So when we reply to people on LinkedIn, if we want to, if we're in connection with somebody that is a really good prospect for us or for business, we want to make sure that we don't just like their posts. We have to like and comment on their posts, at least 5 to 6 words in the comment, and we don't use the canned comments that LinkedIn has on there.
Yeah.
So if we want to build really good, strong relationships with people, we need to actually engage in a conversation with them. So my challenge to all of you this next week is to post once a day on LinkedIn
Okay.
and see how that works for you. And every day, at least reach out to connect to 5 to 10 people every day and see if that works as well. Now, if you are allowed 100 connections a week, that means if you do 10 a day, you'll have a few left over,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
So you can invite a few more people than 10.
And you're inviting them out of the groups or just what LinkedIn pops up? Because
You can invite them within the algorithm so the algorithm can see them. So the only time you need to go into the groups to invite people are, well, if you just want to, but if you've run out of your limit, gone over your limit of invites, then you can go into the groups to invite people.
because usually what they pop up are all the digital marketers that, like you said, are wanting you
Yeah.
to hire them. Or lately, I've been getting a lot of holistic and spiritual, this, that, and something else.
Yeah,
Wow.
me too. I get those too. So if you type in people up here in your search bar, and then you click on either second or third level connections, and then you want to click on the locations. And I usually always use the United States and Canada, and I do the UK, and then I'll type in Australia. Mostly the people that I know are more likely to be able to afford to buy my stuff, right?
I wonder why you picked Australia also.
Because we're special.
Ah, were you in Australia?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought you were in Britain. That's why I said Britain earlier. I'm sorry.
I know. Australia.
At least we can
Silly
understand what
me.
you're saying.
I know, right, Jerry?
Silly me.
So here's something else that you can add when you're searching for people to connect with. When you use this, now, when you use this method that I'm showing you, you are not going to be flying under the radar. Remember this. The search engines, the algorithms on LinkedIn are going to see everybody that you reach out to connect to here on this platform that I'm showing you right now. So if you want to connect with people, you want to add a company, and you can add home-based business. And show results. And that's another one we can do is there we go, home-based health and wellness, home-based network marketing industry. Okay, let's show the results here.
But I can't get that option on my phone.
Hmm.
To search people.
Not the way you're doing it. All it does is give me one search bar and
Well, then the other way is to go into your network, right? And go
yes,
after all those people that are suggested by LinkedIn.
right.
It takes a bit of time to weed through them all, but I'm finding I'm getting more network marketers up there and more people that are open to work, that have that little green circle around the headshot that says open to work. It takes a while to shape it. And I listened to a fellow speak who calls himself a LinkedIn strategist, and he's very good, very good. I was actually quite pleased with most of the things that he had to say. He just didn't understand groups. But here's the thing. He was telling me that you don't search the groups, right? He said the groups are just an extremity, a nice thing to be a part of. And you can create conversations in the groups. He had no idea about flying under the radar and inviting people to connect.
Wow.
And I get that a lot. Most of them
Well,
have no
you've
idea.
said more than once that the groups are the secret, right?
They are. They are the biggest kept secret to LinkedIn. So you can actually click on these connect buttons and invite people to connect with you. This person's in the United Kingdom. This person, uh, he's in Ottawa, Ontario. He talks about relationships first. This one is an independent business owner at home-based business, and we're in the same group. So the search engines on LinkedIn reach out through the groups that you belong to bring people here for you to connect with. And why they let you send direct messages without being connected to them. And I don't know why they let us do that. I'm glad they
Interesting.
do.
Yeah.
So here, see, this is network marketing, home-based, residual income,
Yep.
national marketing director at home-based business and network.
Yep.
So, and this goes on, and there's 2 pages of people that they've got here. Now, I did post that paper that has all the sample blurbs to use, copy and paste. I did post that in our community, Thrivability for Seniors. So you're welcome to use those, but my request is that you run them through ChatGPT so that they're reworded to be a little bit different.
Sure, sure. Don't just take them verbatim. Sure.
Yeah, because what'll happen is everybody will have the same blurb, and we'll get ourselves in trouble on LinkedIn because
Yep.
everybody will be posting the same thing.
900 a day, 2-hour days. 900 a day, 2-hour work day.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to go through my notes here, make sure I haven't missed anything. Um, I talked about the SEO, the education. And if you've done volunteering, like for instance, I'm a trained speaker for the Arthritis Society, and I do that as a volunteer, go and speak. and talk to people about how to manage your arthritis. Did you know? I'm going to tell you a little tidbit about arthritis. Caffeine is a big irritant to arthritis. So if you've got arthritis, don't drink anything or eat anything that's got caffeine.
Good tip.
Yeah, I learned that through them. I don't speak for them on too often anymore because in Alberta it's very rural. I live in a little tiny town and it's 34 kilometers to get to the south end of Edmonton where I'd probably be asked to speak. And it's a little bit much driving all the way over there. And the next thing was the recommendations. Now I started talking about recommendations the last time we got together. And everybody tells you to invite people to recommend you. I never do that. I'm always proactive and I will write the recommendation for them first. And then hopefully they'll write a recommendation back. And that's usually what happens. Because when they see that glowing recommendation, it only needs to be 2 or 3 sentences. When they see that recommendation, usually they get all flabbergasted and go, oh, so they'll write you a recommendation back. And they're very good because that also speaks to the algorithms on LinkedIn if you have recommendations on your profile. And I'm going to show you next week, we're going to just work on newsletters. I've had too many things that I wanted to include today, but it's if you can all go and check out newsletters. You aren't all going to be able to get into a newsletter, I don't think, because I think the limit, the line that they draw is you have to have at or be at 500 plus connections so that your profile shows that to other people. So I've really been stressing to reach out and connect to people because you want to get to that 500 plus so that you look like a center of influence. And then you can have access to be able to have a newsletter. Are there any questions? I've been just going blah, blah, blah.
Where do we find the newsletters, Christine?
Okay, the newsletters are, if you go to home
Mm-hmm.
and get to the very top here where you can do your posts or write an article. I believe it's here. No, that's not the one. I got to go to the me button first and then go to posts and activity that way. And then go to the more. And, oh, where did the newsletters go?
That's interesting.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Images, articles, events, reactions, videos, comments, posts. Those are all the posts listed here.
Move your screen a little bit, maybe. Would that expand that menu?
Well, I'm just going to move this here. And I'm just going to do a search. Okay. There we go. Just search in the search bar.
Oh, well, that's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just go into your
Easy.
newsletters. So you can follow people's newsletters here as well. But here's where you can set up your newsletter. And there's all kinds of other newsletters that you can follow.
Oh, well, that'll be good next week to see that. I have to make sure I can make it.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I've wanted everybody to have 500 plus is because what LinkedIn does is they send a newsletter out to everybody you're connected to. So if you've got 500 plus connections,
Wow.
then they send a newsletter out to all those people. So you might want to hold off actually sending out a newsletter until you've got, well, you won't be able to send out a newsletter, I don't think, until you hit 500 plus anyway.
I have a whopping 267.
Oh, yeah,
Awesome.
me.
I've got over
Awesome.
2,000.
And you can use, I've got a whole bunch of blurbs inviting people to connect that I've saved in a pinned post in the community.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. Yeah.
And if you go to the bottom of it, you have to get into the document and then scroll way down to the bottom of it. It's just about at the bottom, not quite. There's a whole bunch of different blurbs that I've put together, short blurbs for inviting people to connect.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're inviting people to connect with you, don't use the same blurb all the time. You have to change your blurb every 3 to 5, and you change the number of invites you do. So the first blurb, you might just send out 3 invites, use it 3 times. Then the next blurb, you might use 4 times. And then you go to one, and the next blurb, just use it 2 times, and just bounce around with different numbers so that there's no rhythm
Oh, okay.
and there's no pattern, because
Yeah.
we can't look like a bot. Does that make
Yes.
sense, guys?
Yeah, it does.
It
Those
does.
bots are becoming very hard to identify in some cases.
Yeah. And I know about bots
There
because
we go.
that was one of the things that I was helping my son with way back in 2011 when I was first laid off my last job.
Mm.
And he developed a bot that went in and sent direct messages to people in the groups and invited them to come and join the discussion in his groups, right? And LinkedIn put a kibosh on bots, so he had to stop doing that. So what I'm teaching you guys to do is what the bots were doing, or the bot was doing.
Mm.
So I realized that we could do that for our own individual platforms. So you can invite people to connect with you using that messaging system of direct messaging, as long as you don't click the little blue man. Remember that little blue icon on there?
Yeah.
Don't ever click that unless you want to use up some of your invites.
That makes sense.
And it's what's really amazing is there are some similarities to the training that we get on LinkedIn to what Michelle's been teaching us. And one of them was tell people what to do next. People need direction.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we have the call to action at the end.
Christine, can I ask a question? You know how you said you were going to go through and take out all your year dates that you've got in?
Yeah.
I just had a quick look at that. It doesn't look like I can take any dates out.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, start date is required.
Hmm. Okay, well, I'm going to experiment with that this week
Mm.
and see if I can just put month and day and not year.
No, it just comes up with start date and it's got month and then it's got year and it comes up with a red start date is required. Because I try
Oh,
to take out and just leave the January, but it won't do it. So
okay.
I
I'm going to
wonder
work on
if you
that more.
delete, yeah, I wonder if you delete it and re-enter it, if it might do it differently.
Yeah. I'm going to try entering them from scratch.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I just thought I'd, mention it in
Yeah.
part.
I'm just going to put this in my notes here.
Hmm. Employment time. Oh, that's interesting.
What
So,
happened?
no, it won't let you not put it in even starting from scratch. I tried that.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
Darn it.
Done,
I'm going to go back to LinkedIn to that post that I was reading. But thanks
I
for
mean,
bringing that up. That is great.
yeah, so I mean, there may be a way, a workaround, but I just doing that quickly just to check. No.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that's interesting. They want to know how old you are.
Oh,
We can just put this year anyway. It doesn't matter, hey.
yeah. And I did some presentations with a fellow who has published 7 books on identity theft. That
Mm.
was his specialty, is teaching people about identity theft and how to be safe online. So we did some presentations together, and I would talk for 5 minutes on things you could do on LinkedIn, and then I would just stand to the side while he talked for 5 minutes on how to be safe using LinkedIn, right?
Mm.
And that was one of the things he said back then was you shouldn't put your birthday on any of your social media platforms
Mm.
because people can get in there and hack
Yep.
you.
Yes, didn't think of that.
Well, I've learned this last month, don't put your phone number.
Oh, I never put my phone number in, no. Not for everyone to see, sometimes just from,
I
like,
even had mine on private, only me.
oh,
And whoever hacked my Facebook still got my
oh,
phone number.
yeah,
Yeah.
hackers do
Well,
that,
you know
yeah.
why that is? That's because of Meta.
Yeah.
Meta owns Facebook, and Meta is like you walk into the bank to do your banking, and there's no tellers anywhere. Nobody's in that area, and the
Mm-hmm.
vault door is left wide open. You can just walk in and take out of the vault whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's Meta.
It's really bad, eh?
Yeah. So you have to double opt in. Use an authenticator if you possibly can.
Yeah.
So I've been gradually working through all my stuff to make sure I've got everything double opted in with using the authenticator. And there's Microsoft's authenticator, and Google has its authenticator as well.
I have an authenticator app on my phone,
Okay.
but when I
Okay.
click on it, it wants me to enter a number, and there's nowhere to get the number from.
You
What
should you
what's
when
that
you're
on? What platform?
The authenticator app.
No,
so
but
which
what
one is
platform?
it? Is it the blue one or is it the one that's got the red on it?
Let me find it.
I know when Facebook sends me an authenticator, it goes to WhatsApp for some reason, and I have to get the code from WhatsApp. So that's why I was asking which platform, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, or whatever.
Well, when I originally got the hack on Facebook,
Mm.
I went through all the normal stuff, and it wanted me to use the authenticator.
Mm.
Hmm? Which authenticator are you using? Because see that authenticator, there's
This is a Google authenticator,
this is Google Authenticator right here by my finger.
and it says add a code. Well, where does the code come from?
So
When you go onto the social media platform, it should bring up a scan. You have to scan it with your phone and then you
yeah,
add that.
yeah, you
Except
should
that's
see
kind of hard to do when your phone's the only thing you're using. So,
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah, because when I went to Facebook, there was nothing for me to scan with my phone. I
Mhm.
can use Facebook on my laptop. And yeah, I've been through all kinds of hurdles and everything else. So I've come to the realization that maybe I just don't need Facebook.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I buy 10,000 followers and all the rest of it, but I don't need the stress.
yeah,
No. And
yeah.
when you're ready to work it out, it'll just work out for you. Like that's how I find things happen. So,
Well, there's another authenticator, and I'll show it to you here. So this, if you see that little blue padlock sort of thing, that blue padlock is the Microsoft Authenticator.
Okay.
So might want to try that instead.
Alrighty.
You usually have to go into the authenticator and set the authenticator up for whatever product it is. But but you should still be able to, so if you can log in on your computer, there should be a QR code, one of those black squares with all the black dots in it,
Yeah.
and that you can scan with your camera on your phone and just turn the camera on and scan that.
Okay.
And then it should automatically upload into that authenticator.
Alrighty. It'll give me another project now that I don't have to post 5 times a day on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I was pleased to hear that because I've been taught for years that you have to have at least 3 to 5 posts a day going out. But with the change in LinkedIn, and now instead of 12 algorithms, they've got 14. You only need to have 1 post a day going out.
I just need to figure out how to find all of these places on my phone since I can't seem to get in on any other kind of device.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to teach a class getting into
Yeah.
LinkedIn on your
Yeah, you're
cell
going to
phone.
be awesome. Are there any other questions?
The only other question I have is when I look at some people's posts, whether it's in groups or just what comes across my feed, down toward the bottom of their post, they'll have a highlighted link you can click on that goes to whatever they're talking about, whether it's a website or a training or whatever else. And
Right.
it starts off saying link something or another, not their website name. And I'm trying to figure out where that comes from.
Oh, that is probably a LinkedIn link. LinkedIn makes its own links. So if they've got posts or articles that they're trying to promote through either through their groups or through their other social media or through email, that link will have part of LinkedIn in the beginning of it.
So do they just type in whatever their normal thing is, but when they post it, LinkedIn throws up that link?
I think it changes automatically, or it
Yeah,
used to when I did it before. It just used to convert
yeah.
it to LinkedIn link, but I'm not sure anymore. Christine, does it?
Yeah, it does for me. It automatically changes.
Yeah.
So when I'm posting for instance, the articles, when I write an article on LinkedIn and then I publish it there, and then after it's published, a window pops up where you can click to copy the link. When you first put that link in your first post, it's a big long thing. It has LinkedIn in the beginning of that. And then what happens when you post that, LinkedIn automatically shortens it. So it's like using something like tinyURL. I use tinyURL sometimes to shorten links, but it'll always have tinyURL at the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
tinyURL dot something or slash something, right? And so with LinkedIn, they have LinkedIn, and then they'll have a forward slash, and then they'll have a question mark and another forward slash, and usually a bunch of numbers, and it shortens it. So that's the LinkedIn shortener, I think, is what you're seeing.
So, but that's if they're actually on something besides a cell phone and they're being able to do an article.
Well, if you do a post, every
Mm-hmm.
post will have a link to it, a LinkedIn link.
Because I know in my profile, it's got a clickable link to my website,
Uh-huh.
but when I write a post, do I just put that in my post as well? Or do I say go to my bio?
Well, here's what I've been doing. I've been going and making can to make sure that my website link, my landing page link gets noticed. I've been going to Canva and creating a picture to go with each of my posts. I even take pictures that are the quotes, famous quotes with pictures. I'll upload one of those into Canva. And then you can add your website to one of those.
Well, I do that on
Oh,
all of my images on all my posts.
oh, that's good.
It's just not clickable.
No, it's not when you do it that way. And if it's not clickable, you won't get in trouble with LinkedIn, right? But people will see your website. They can either type it into a search bar or they can copy it and paste it into a fresh search bar. And you can ask them to do that, you know, and part of your call to action would be if you're ready to get more information, just copy this link and paste it into a new search bar. I hope that makes sense.
Yes.
I expect a full report next week.
One post, right?
Yeah, one post a day. So it's
Oh, every day, not just for the week.
Oh, not for the year, because that's about where I'm at right now.
one post a day, guys. One post.
Yay.
Okay.
Well, when I heard that, I went, oh my gosh, this is really great. So let's do one post a day for this next week and see how that turns out for us.
Okay.
You grade on the curve, Christine?
Do I grade on the curve?
Yeah.
No, it's black and white numbers.
Ooh, taskmaster.
Wow.
I used to hate it when my math teacher graded my tests on the curve. Oh, that used to make me so mad because I wanted to know exactly what my grade was, right? And math was always my most challenging subject. And it wasn't until I finally got in grade 10 and Mr. Thomas, he was about 6'6". He was really tall.
Wow.
And and he was the first teacher that was able to help me really understand math. And it was like the light went on, bang, and I was so excited and I loved all the things math. And I got A's. It was A and A pluses that I got all throughout his class. And so after that class, if I didn't get an A or an A plus and I was graded on a curve, I got mad.
You're spoiled.
I worked hard to get there.
Uh,
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to take off here, guys.
sure.
Thank
So
you.
our homework
Thank you.
is one post
you,
a day
everyone.
for this next
Thank
week.
you.
You're welcome. I love you
Thanks.
guys.
All right. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'll take care.